Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Ginika. Today I would like to share with you a personal experience that I have with my daughter picky eating habit and a recent health concern. It has been a very challenging journey, but I hope this story will definitely help parents that are going through similar struggles. So let's get right into my daughter's picky eating habit and the surprising cause for her frequent vomiting and discomfort which she suddenly recently experienced. Notice that 2 weeks after birth, my daughter immediately started putting two of her fingers, her left fingers precisely like this, in her mouth, attempting to suck her hand. Meanwhile, she was giving birth to as a preterm. So because she came out as a preterm, she couldn't suck my nipples, my breast properly. So I was forced to pump for her. I actually pumped for her for good 1 year, breast milk for her for good 1 year, to be able to get her to feed her on breast milk. But the first 6 months of her feeding was actually on exclusive breastfeeding. So while she was attempting to suck her two thumb, I tried to stop it by wearing her hand gloves, mittens, but it didn't work. She will always find a way of either getting it out or sucking the hand with the gloves on it till it was very wet. I have to take it out, and she just got her way with sucking her hand. So I guess because she sucks her hands even up till now, this is probably the reason for her low appetite, because she derives comfort already in her hand. But you know, as mothers, we still have to try our best to just get them to feed. So my daughter is a very picky eater. Eating times means I have to come up with very creative methods of distraction just to get her to feed, ranging from allowing her to sit and watch her favorite Cocomelon on my phone, to allowing her to just sit in the kitchen and play with the water, with the tap water, allow it just to be running so that she will be distracted. I also come up with strategies like allowing her to play with building bricks, or allowing her to ride on her bikes or bicycle, as the case may be. But she does not allow me to carry her during feed time because she just wants to be engaged with something else. She practically feeds only when being distracted. And the challenging part is, up till now, I do not have a complete or concrete hang-on of a particular distraction method that will just put her still to eat. It has to be one day, one new challenge, and one new creative idea for every feeding time. Because she's a very picky eater, there are very limited food options that she's open to. As a matter of fact, the only food she takes, and takes maybe partially well, because not very well, she doesn't eat well, is pap. So this has made me to be creative with her pap. I have to blend her pap using 4 mixture. I use the yellow corn, the white corn, the guinea corn, and the millet. Is it millet? Those are the 4 I use, but I have a particular ratio to which I measure and grind, sieve myself, and prepare. This makes me to make pap almost every month, and in very large quantity at that. She also takes tea, but maybe not frequently. And she also likes to take malt, but I avoid giving her malt because I don't want her to take anything sugary for now. However, cereals and rice and other things are a no-no for her. She does not take them, no matter how hard I try. But recently, I've gotten her to be able to eat fried eggs or boiled eggs, just in very little quantity. Because feeding her is a very Herculean task, unfortunately, anytime I am not around, I will always get report that they are unable to feed her. Nobody can feed her. And also, whenever I'm feeding her, she always tries to vomit naturally right from when she was a little baby. When she became clocked 6 months and was introduced to complementary feeding, she always attempts to vomit. I complained to our pediatrician several times, and he advised me to feed her slowly, which I did, so we can spend as much as 30 minutes feeding only in the morning, because I have to feed her slowly, I have to distract her, and I have to let her feed at her pace. In the first week of June, I noticed that her vomiting while feeding increased in intensity. And as a matter of fact, it became much more frequent, which means even while she wasn't feeding, she was also showing tendency of wanting to vomit. But with all this happening, there was no any other sign of ailment like running temperature or weakness or maybe loss of appetite, because she never really had a heavy appetite. So it was practically difficult to ascertain whether the sign of vomiting she was showing in June was as a result of an ailment or as a result of her normal attitude. However, when it became a thing of serious concern to me was when the vomiting graduated to the night. So this means when we slept at night, Even though she ate her last meal maybe 7 p.m., whenever we sleep at night in the first week of June, she will just wake up suddenly from her sleep at around 10 p.m. and start throwing up. It was a very messy and traumatic period. I was confused as to why she was vomiting. I was still observing her, but I noticed that during the day she was pooing watery stool, which was not normal. So, but she was only pooing that watery stool once a day. I took her to a pediatrician to complain about this recent health concern, and he ran a test for her, both malaria test, and he prescribed malaria treatment drugs and also antibiotics to take care of maybe there's any underlying bacterial infection. During the course of her taking her medication, she became fine. The vomiting reduced and maybe turned to the normal procedure. The stooling stopped as well, and I thought she was okay. But immediately we finished taking her antibiotics and anti-malaria drugs, the vomiting came back, the watery stool came back, and I was worried. As a matter of fact, we repeated the visits to the pediatrician 2 times, and the cycle repeated itself, meaning when she's taking the drug, she's okay. After the medication, it comes back. After her medication was over, suddenly one midnight in this June, I noticed that the vomiting intensity increased from twice at night to 3 times at night to 4 times at night. I was already worried that she was having too much drug load in her system, and I was not eager to take her back to the pediatrician so soon. I was even worried that the pediatrician would be tired of seeing her frequently because he has been treating her consistently for like 2 or 3 weeks non-stop. So I just waited. Not until one particular midnight before daybreak, she vomited 14 good times. I was alarmed. It was traumatic. I couldn't take her for emergency because I know her pediatrician wasn't going to be around. And I am stereotyped. I don't like seeing any other doctor if her pediatrician won't be around. So when it was daybreak, I still couldn't take her to see her pediatrician because he would resume at evening. So I made her go to school because she wasn't showing any sign of weakness that particular morning when she woke up. I was able to feed her just little quantity and she was fine. But when I came to pick her up from school, her minder told me that particular day was the only day she has seen my daughter in a very dull mood, and that she refused to feed and she threw up for the first time so heavily in school. I was trying to even tell her that, oh, do you mean she doesn't throw up normally when being fed? Because she throws up normally when being fed at home. So the minder said, no, but she does, but not like what happened that particular day. So I should check her. Maybe she's ill. I explained to her, yes, we have been going in and out of the hospital. But there and then, something struck in my mind. You see, this motherly instinct, it is real. It occurred to me that this girl may actually be suffering from worms. And I was wondering, worms, how? Not like she's not a sweet tooth, but I do not encourage her to take sweet things. I discourage it. And the only thing she takes is pap, then tea, Milo and milk in her tea. I guess probably the sugar in Milo and milk maybe may have contributed to the sweetness in her system. However, I went online quickly to research, and I found out that the moment a child clocks 2 years old, the ideal thing would be to deworm that child. But because I do not like to do self-medication, I decided to just still make the visit to her pediatrician that evening, since I already knew I was going to see him. But immediately I got to her pediatrician's office this time around, I was clear. I told him that, sir, yes, I know she has been vomiting and we have been treating her and she has been stooling watery poop, but I think it could be worms. Do you not think it is time to deworm her? And thankfully, the pediatrician bought my suggestion immediately, and he wrote worm drugs for her. I gave her the worm drugs, and then the following day, she became okay. By okay, I mean she stopped the watery poop. That was the first step. Then she stopped the midnight vomiting. Yes, so I got to know that, oh, it was worm that has actually been disturbing her that caused this very recent discomfort, because at midnight, before she vomits, she would just be grunting, she would be, shaking, restless. I was so worried. We couldn't sleep at night. But thankfully, all those phases has passed now, and she's able to eat, but not very well, still her normal picky eating self, but we are still actually I'm still actually working around it. I keep feeding her from time to time. I only increase the number of times I feed her a day. And thankfully, she's doing fine. She's okay. She's 2 years old. She just clocked 2 years old in May. and she weighs above the average weight for a 2-year-old baby, and she's healthy. Even our pediatrician will always tell me anytime I come to complain is, whatever you're feeding this girl with that is making her this healthy, please kindly continue. So in case your baby is a picky eater like my own baby, in case your baby is not open to so many food options, or in case your baby has an issue of frequent vomiting, you could also try to feed your baby slowly. It's time consuming, I understand, and you may have to dedicate an increased number of hours per day to consistently feeding that child in order to make that child get all the right nutrients. And you could also try to balance or maybe freestyle your baby's food. Like sometimes I try to break in egg into a pap while I'm making it, just to incorporate more nutrients in addition to the soya beans I use in making her pap. I am hopeful and determined to gradually introduce her to a more variety of food options. I won't be tired. Okay, and I don't want you also to be tired. We are all doing well. So basically, I decided to share this my daughter's story in order to raise awareness on the importance of trusting our motherly instincts. Also, if you have children who are aged 2 years and above, I would encourage you to check in with their pediatrician as to how to deworm them to ensure their proper well-being. Although it is stated that you can deworm them twice, a maximum of 2 times a year, but still check in with your pediatrician. Thank you so much for joining me today on this particular video. If you found this video helpful, please kindly like, share, comment, and if you are not subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel for more lifestyle content. I'm grateful to a whole lot of you who have found my content inspiring and for following me in this journey. I'm sorry, that's my daughter's voice. That's her voice. She doesn't like me making videos. Till I come your way in my next video. Bye.